The air was cool and fragrant as the disciples gathered beneath the shade of towering bamboo trees. A gentle wind carried whispers through the grove, and the soft hum of the forest enveloped them. As the soft rustle of leaves filled the air, Anand mustered the courage to speak his mind. "Master," he began, his voice trembling, "I feel as though I am failing to fulfill my true potential." The Buddha regarded Anand with a gaze filled with compassion, his serene presence offering immediate solace to the troubled disciple. "Anand," the Buddha said, his voice calm yet profound, "tell me, what is it that troubles your heart so deeply?" Anand hesitated, searching for the words to describe the unrest within his soul. "Master," he said, "I see others around me achieving greatness. Yet I feel stagnant and unworthy." The Buddha nodded, his expression one of deep understanding. "Your feelings, Anand, are not unique. They echo the silent struggles of many who tread this path." He gestured for the disciples to draw closer, the anticipation in the air palpable. "Let me share a story," the Buddha said, his voice steady yet inviting. "A story about the nature of potential." The disciples leaned in, their curiosity ignited by the promise of wisdom that would soon unfold. The Buddha began, his words weaving a narrative that resonated deeply with all who listened. "Once," he said, "there was a farmer who owned a barren field, devoid of life and seemingly without hope. Master, the traveler must release the snake. Holding on to it only brings suffering." Despite his desire for change, one day, the Buddha said, the farmer discovered a single seed, hidden beneath the surface of the parched soil. He wondered, the Buddha added, whether this seed could ever thrive in such unyielding conditions. His heart torn between hope and doubt. Despite his uncertainty, the Buddha said, the farmer decided to plant the seed, nurturing it with water and care each day. The disciples listened intently, the simplicity of the tale masking the profound lesson it contained. Letting go is not cruelty but compassion. It recognizes the impossibility of altering another's nature against their inherent tendencies. The farmer could have given up, the Buddha said, abandoning his efforts and resigning himself to failure. But, the Buddha added, his tone resolute, he chose to persevere, believing in the unseen potential hidden within the seed. One morning, the Buddha said, the farmer awoke to find a tender shoot emerging from the soil. The disciples exchanged glances, the stories unfolding evoking a sense of hope and possibility. The teaching resonated universally. Buddha turned his gaze upward, his expression tranquil, as though reflecting on a greater universal truth beyond words. In holding on to toxicity, we fear loneliness, loss, or emptiness. Yet emptiness can birth clarity, the path to inner peace. Doubt and fear, the Buddha said, are the dry soil that obscures your potential. Yet they are not insurmountable. With patience and effort, the Buddha added, you can transform even the most barren field into a flourishing garden. A young disciple hesitated, raising his voice with trembling courage. Master, how does one find strength to release what binds? Buddha's eyes softened, his tone gentle as the morning breeze. The Buddha then gestured to the forest around them. Look at these trees, Ananda. The seed, the Buddha added, does not doubt its ability to become a tree, nor should you doubt your potential. The disciples sat in silence, the profound lesson settling within their hearts like a gentle rain upon parched earth. The snake deserves neither hatred nor affection. Its nature remains as it is, unchanged, unmoved, neither good nor evil. The grove fell silent once more, the only sound the rustling of leaves, as each disciple reflected on their own potential. Another day, Anand sat near the pond, his heart heavy with frustration, unable to see progress in his efforts. He stared at the lotus leaves, rippling with the gentle breeze, feeling his doubts rise like shadows within him. The Buddha approached, his gait unhurried, his presence soothing like the first rays of dawn breaking over the horizon. Anand turned to him, his voice faltering as he spoke. "Master, I have tried, yet success eludes me still." The Buddha listened intently, his calm gaze resting on Anand's troubled expression, his silence inviting him to share further. "No matter how much effort I put forth, my potential remains hidden, as if buried beneath impenetrable earth," Anand confessed. The Buddha seated himself beside Anand, the serene pond reflecting the sky's ever-changing hues of amber and gold. "Anand," the Buddha said gently, "let me tell you another story, one that may illuminate the path before you." The disciples gathered nearby, drawn by the promise of wisdom, their hearts seeking solace in the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha began, his voice steady and measured, weaving a tale that seemed to flow with the rhythm of life itself. "Once," he said, "there was a potter who dreamed of creating a vessel, one of unparalleled beauty and strength." Anand's eyes flickered with curiosity, his thoughts momentarily diverted from his own struggles as the story unfolded. "She labored tirelessly, shaping the clay with precision, her fingers moving with care and reverence," the Buddha continued. "Despite her efforts, the vessel cracked each time, the clay collapsing under the intense heat of the kiln," he said. Her neighbors mocked her, urging her to abandon her craft, their words heavy with derision. The Buddha added, "But the potter did not falter. She persisted, believing in her vision despite repeated failures and setbacks," the Buddha said. Anand felt a pang of recognition, his own journey reflected in the relentless struggles of the potter's life. Each failure, the Buddha said, taught her something new, each crack revealing a lesson hidden within the process. She refined her techniques, adjusted her methods, and approached her craft with renewed resolve and humility, he continued. Her perseverance bore fruit. She created a vessel so beautiful, its presence brought joy to all who beheld it, the Buddha added. Anand's heart softened, the story kindling a faint but steady flame of hope within his weary soul. "Anand," the Buddha said, turning to him, "your journey mirrors that of the potter. It is one of persistence and growth. Failures are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones, guiding you closer to realizing your potential," the Buddha said. "The cracks you perceive within yourself are not flaws. They are spaces through which light enters and wisdom blooms," he added. "Each effort you make, no matter how small, shapes the vessel of your being, refining and strengthening you," he said. "Anand," the Buddha said, his voice tender yet firm, "trust in the process and embrace the lessons concealed within each challenge." The disciples listened in silence, the lesson settling within their hearts like seeds carried by the wind. Ready to take root, be patient with yourself, for the path unfolds in its own time. The grove seemed to come alive, the rustling leaves and murmuring stream creating a symphony that echoed the Buddha's words. "Remember, Anand, the lotus does not bloom overnight. It emerges slowly, rising above the mud and murky waters," he added. "Every step you take, no matter how insignificant it seems, brings you closer to the surface, closer to the light," he said. Anand bowed deeply, his heart filled with gratitude, his spirit rekindled by the Buddha's compassionate wisdom. The pond shimmered with the glow of the setting sun, its waters carrying the reflections of the sky's infinite expanse. To break free, you must recognize these fears and insecurities. Only by understanding them can you transcend their binding grip. He closed his eyes, feeling the peace of the present moment, his determination renewing itself like a flame sheltered from the wind. The Buddha rose and walked away, his presence leaving behind a calm that lingered like the gentle whisper of dawn. The grove returned to silence, the echoes of wisdom resonating within its stillness, promising growth to those who listened. Another day, Anand sat beneath the wide canopy of the banyan tree, his heart filled with a quiet sense of progress. The rustling leaves whispered ancient wisdom, and the grove seemed alive with the energy of spiritual growth. Anand had been meditating more deeply, his mind calmer, his thoughts less burdened by the weight of self-doubt. Yet, despite his newfound peace, he wondered whether he had truly unlocked the full potential he sought within. The Buddha approached, his steps light as if guided by the rhythm of the earth, his presence a beacon of calm. Anand rose and bowed deeply, his respect for the master evident in the reverence of his gesture. "Master," Anand began, his voice steady yet questioning, "I have grown, but how will I know when my potential is fully realized?" The Buddha seated himself beside Anand, the grove falling silent as if nature herself awaited his words. "Anand," the Buddha said gently, "the realization of potential is not a destination but an ever-unfolding journey of growth and contribution." The disciples gathered quietly, their eyes reflecting anticipation, eager to absorb the wisdom about to be shared. The Buddha continued, his voice steady yet imbued with profound depth. "Let me share a story, one of resilience and purpose." The gentle breeze carried his words, their cadence soothing, like a lullaby to restless souls. "There was once a lotus seed, buried deep in the mud beneath the still waters of a tranquil pond," the Buddha began. Anand listened intently, the imagery of the lotus already stirring an inexplicable connection within his heart. The seed lay dormant, surrounded by darkness, unaware of the light that existed beyond the murky water, he said. Despite the weight of the mud, the seed held within it a quiet potential, a latent promise of transformation, the Buddha added. One day, the seed felt an inexplicable urge, a call to rise, to push upward through the heavy, suffocating layers, he continued. The journey was arduous. The seed encountered resistance at every turn, the mud clinging to it like chains, the Buddha said. But the seed persisted, driven by a faint yet unwavering belief in a purpose greater than itself, the Buddha added. As it pushed upward, it encountered the still waters, a new challenge that tested its resilience and determination, he continued. Through patience and perseverance, the seed broke through the water's surface, reaching the open air for the first time, the Buddha said. There, it began to bloom, its petals unfolding to reveal a beauty that had been hidden within all along, the Buddha added. The lotus, Anand, symbolizes the journey of unlocking one's true potential, a process that requires effort, faith, and purpose, the Buddha said. Anand's eyes glistened as the story resonated deeply within him, its meaning seeping into his consciousness like nourishing rain. Master, Anand said, his voice filled with both awe and curiosity, how can one be sure they are fulfilling their true purpose? The Buddha regarded Anand with a gaze that seemed to peer into the depths of his soul, unearthing its quiet truths. Anand, he said, his tone both tender and firm, your purpose is revealed not in solitary achievement but in service to others. The lotus does not bloom for itself. It offers its beauty to the world, inspiring all who behold it, the Buddha continued. Your potential is not a finite treasure to be hoarded but a boundless gift to be shared with others, he said. Growth is not about attaining perfection. It is about using your strengths to uplift and support those around you, the Buddha added. Anand nodded slowly, the Buddha's words weaving a tapestry of understanding within his mind, their wisdom undeniable and transformative. Master, Anand said, his voice filled with humility, how can I ensure that my actions are aligned with this purpose? The Buddha smiled, his expression radiating reassurance, his presence a reminder of the infinite possibilities that lay within each moment. Anand, he said, act with mindfulness, with intention, and with compassion. These are the guiding principles of a purposeful life. When your actions are rooted in love and understanding, They will naturally align with your true purpose, the Buddha added. Like the lotus, rise above the mud of doubt, bloom with grace, and offer your essence to the world, he continued. The disciples sat in silence, their hearts heavy with reflection yet lightened by the clarity of the Buddha's teachings. Anand bowed deeply, his gratitude boundless, his spirit renewed with a profound sense of direction and purpose. "Thank you, Master," he said, his voice filled with conviction. "I will strive to be like the lotus, to rise and bloom." The Buddha placed a hand on Anand's shoulder, his touch a silent affirmation of the disciples' resolve and potential. The grove returned to its natural stillness, the wisdom imparted by the Buddha lingering like an eternal echo in the air. Anand remained beneath the banyan tree, his mind calm, his heart open, his journey towards self-realization ever unfolding. The power to cleanse lies within you, within the choices you make daily. Choose peace over pain, love over hatred, understanding over judgment. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.